Before we get started, I would like to say bravo to Elizabeth Olsen and Benedict Cumberbatch for just doing that all the time and just not seeing the magic that we get to see. They have to act all this out, and I think that is pretty awesome, so well done them. Hello everyone and welcome to IMRT Reviews. IMRT, and today we're doing a non-spoiler, and I do stress non-spoiler, there will be no spoilers in this video. Non-spoiler review for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So Doctor Strange 2 sees Sam Raimi making his first movie in the MCU, and that made me extremely excited. One, because he's got a great track record with horror movies, and two, he's got a great track record with superhero movies with the Spider-Man trilogy. So I was incredibly excited when I heard that he has taken over from Scott Derrickson for this movie, and you can see why he was selected, because this film is beautiful. But this film does have some flaws, and we're going to talk about those first. So the first big one for me is pacing. The pacing of this movie is it's rampant. It's very, very quick. You're going from one place to another very quickly, and there's no breathers. You don't get to spend time with these characters at all. You just quickly get to one place to another and to another, and that also makes it extremely jumpy. So the narrative is very jumpy. You've got to get here to here to here. It doesn't flow beautifully. And there's no breathers. It's just one CGI monster fight, and then you got to do this, you got to do that. There's no flow to it, and it's way too rushed. This film, 100% in my opinion, needed an extra 30 minutes tagged onto the runtime, or just take out some of these CGI monster fights, or just lessen them, because they do go on for quite a long time. I'm talking specifically about the CGI monster fights. Any fights involving, our characters like Wanda or Doctor Strange, that they were amazing, but the CGI monsters less so, and that would free up a lot of time, or add time, for our characters. We needed more time spent with America Chavez. I loved her character. I think the actress done a really good job with her, but we only got a little bit of character development with her. There was no moments in this film where it took a breath to just have these characters talking out, just a little bit of a bit of downtime, basically, where we can just see these characters interact with each other and get to know them a bit more. And I think there's also an over-reliance on WandaVision, like the setup for Wanda, and you can definitely, I think, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you're going to struggle to connect with her character a lot in this movie. You're going to be wondering why she is doing the things she does. And I think if you haven't seen WandaVision, you're going to feel rather disconnected from her character, and it's going to lessen the impact of the movie. Luckily, I have seen it, so I loved everything they did with Wanda, but I can definitely see people going into this not watching WandaVision thinking, what the hell is going on? And the downtime we do get with America Chavez and Doctor Strange and stuff like that, I loved everything. I love their, their relationship together. I think it's really cool, and I do like what we learn about America Chavez. I think it was very impactful. We just needed more of it, and I think the pacing of the movie would have benefited with a bit of downtime as well. And I think the other character we should have got a lot more of. I mean, we get a lot of her, which is Wanda. I think we should have really got a lot more of her in this film, as it's all around her, basically. And if you haven't seen the setup for WandaVision, you're going to know very little about where she's at in life at the moment. And it's going to lessen the really emotional moments in this movie. But I think we could have explored so much more of her psyche, and there was so much potential there. I felt a little bit disappointed. It felt like they just scratched the surface of everything with her character. And there are a lot of big moments in this movie that felt less gratifying, because we've spent less time with characters. There's characters that I can't talk about. There's characters like Wanda, Strange, America Chavez, which could have been a lot more impactful. But there just wasn't enough build-up. There wasn't enough development with everyone. And I didn't feel like I was like, okay, that's cool. But I could have been like, come on! But where we didn't have that time beforehand spent to build up to this amazing moment, it just lessened it for me. That's why I say it was less gratifying when we got those, fist in the air, amazing moments. But we did get a lot of amazing moments in this movie, and mainly with Wanda. The horror aspects surrounding her character, the stylized way of them showing it on the big screen. Big thumbs up to Sam Raimi. I loved everything that they've done with her character and her powers in this movie. Very terrifying at times, and just very epic. I was like, oh, this is awesome. It was awesome. Wanda is amazing. One of my favourite characters in the MCU. I just wanted more. It was so good. And I think I love the dark tone in this movie, but I feel like it could have gone darker. I feel like it wanted to go darker, but it was a bit restricted. But what we did get was some of the darker stuff we see in the MCU, and I loved it. I would say, you know, if you're taking like a 5-year-old child to see this movie, probably you want to think it through, because there is some dark stuff in this movie, like dark imagery, which could scare some younger children. I think by Marvel standards, this has like the least amount of humour I've seen in a film in a long time, so when the jokes don't work, they stand out a little bit more, but when the jokes do work, they did make me laugh, as they always do in the MCU. Tonally, the film just completely works. The shift between, like, you know, the more comedic moments to the really dark moments, seamless. I loved it, and I really think there is a space to explore in the MCU for more darker movies like this, and like I said, the horror aspects in this movie were my favourite part. I'm a big horror fan, so that's no surprise. They were so well done, I just want to see more of it. It was epic, so if you like horror, I do recommend checking out this movie. As far as performance goes, I think everyone did a very good job, especially Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. I can't stop praising the character and the actress enough. I think they're so good in this film, and the reason why I feel like I'm going to enjoy this film even more over time upon more rewatches. She was just fantastic. Benedict Cumberbatch, as always, was amazing, as expected, and where this film separates itself from other movies for me is the direction. Sam Raimi just brought an extremely unique look to this movie. Only Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Eternals really separated themselves from the normal look of the Marvel Universe. I think they were both very different looking films, and some of the cinematography in this film was stunning. It was jaw-droppingly good, and there were some incredible moments where I was just like, okay, Sam Raimi needs to direct more superhero movies, and I hope we get to see that. So overall, I do think Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was a good time at the cinema. I think it had the potential to be incredible. There's some things that are holding this movie back for me, mainly the pacing of the movie and the runtime, and how much time we got to spend with our characters. I do highly recommend checking this one out at the cinema. If you're a massive fan like myself of the Marvel franchise, you're going to enjoy it. But I do recommend keeping your expectations of what you're going to see in this movie in check. It's not the film's fault if you go in thinking you're going to see a character and you don't see it, okay? If you believe these rumours and stuff like that, and then you're disappointed for not seeing a character that was never meant to be in the film in the first place, that's your fault, not the film. So I'm going to say that because I feel like some people are going to be disappointed with this movie because they're not going to see things that they wanted to see, and that's not the film's fault or the filmmaker's fault. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. But yeah, if you're going to have a good time with this movie, if you're a Marvel fan, you're going to have a good time with this movie. If you're just a fan of movies, it's a good time. Not perfect time, but a good time. If you did enjoy this review, please give it a like, please subscribe, and as always, I'll see you next time.